All right. Well, welcome everybody to MVP Office Hours. My name is Jared Kingston. I'm a solution architect and MVP with Aperio, and I help lead the office hours along with Jackie Travieso and Dale Ziegler. And we are super excited about today's office hours. As you may have seen on Twitter, the community, and other places. This is a huge, I think a huge milestone, huge thing for the office hours as this is a special Trailhead edition of the office hours. So, but before we get started here, just a quick call out on some events that are coming up. If you haven't heard, if you like skiing and you like Salesforce, you should definitely check out Tahoe Dreamin' as well as Snowforce. And if you like gambling in Salesforce, you should probably check out Destination Success, as well as learning, of course. And then several of the other Dream-Ins, we just keep adding more and more each year, which is awesome to see. So definitely check out those events and make sure you sign up if you can make it. All right, if this is the first time to the office hours, really this is just an open discussion. We do this every first and third Friday of every month. And we kind of have a motto that no question or topic is too big or small, so don't be afraid to ask questions. And we record this, and we'll post it out to the community and Twitter. So if you have to jump off early, don't worry. You can spend your weekend watching the recording with your family. Because this is an open discussion, we just ask that you mute your line so that we can hear questions and answers clearly. If you want to ask a question, just either raise your hand in the chat, or if we've got some dead space, we will ask for questions, and you can just speak up, and that's totally cool as well. And then just announce yourself when responding. A big part of the office hours actually is just is networking and get to meet people.
You are now being connected to the conference. Please stand by.
All right. Appreciate that. So that's another reason why we mute. All right. So just announce yourself when we're responding so we know who's talking.
This conference is being recorded.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick. All right. So as I said, this is a special Trailhead edition of the office hours, and we are super excited to have Chris Duarte and Adam Torman. If you don't know, Chris, is the editor-in-chief of Trailhead, and is basically Astro, or maybe Astro is Chris. I don't know. Maybe that's just maybe your spirit animal. But Chris is involved heavily with the Salesforce community, obviously, and we're excited to have her on. And then Adam is the product manager of Trailhead. So we're super excited to have him on, maybe get some insight on where Trailhead is headed. So we're excited to have these two on to answer a lot of your Trailhead questions. All right, and before we get started here, we have some questions for you. So let me bring those up here. Or, Jackie, do you want to ask those questions? I'm having trouble finding them. I'm going to take some informal polls here. Okay, here we go.
Sorry about that, Jared. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just pulled them up. So, curious, raise your hand if you are maybe new to Trailhead. Maybe you've heard of it, but you haven't checked it out, haven't even, maybe you haven't even heard of Trailhead, and you're curious of what it is. Raise your hand in the meeting there. And this is a judgment-free zone, so we're not going to shame you if you haven't heard of it. All right. So we got Brian Kwong. Put your hand down. All right. We got two here, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So Elaine and Deanna, we're hopefully going to educate you here today and allow you to ask all the questions you want.
It's Alan, by the way. Sorry. It's spelled correctly, but it's actually pronounced Alan. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks for all right. So we're curious on number of badges. So how many of you, and I've got this pulled up on the screen here. So we've got these ranks here. So I'm just curious how many Rangers we have on the call. Whoa. Okay. Are you serious? Okay. 1, 2, 8 so far that I see there. 8 Rangers on the call. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. And then lastly, okay, that was the last question. So, Jackie, anything else before we get going here? I guess one more question we did have was super badges. How many of you have completed at least one super badge? That's several there. 5 of you. All right, that's great. And then lastly, how many of you have heard of and updated the new profile within Trailhead? Look at that. I like seeing that. Several, almost, it's turning out to be almost all of you. Great. Awesome. Well, those are kind of the questions. Just kind of want to get an idea of the audience and also see if what you guys have been doing out on Trailhead. So with that being said, let's go ahead and kick off the Q&A portion here. And who wants to kick us off with the first question for Chris and Adam?
We have a question in the chat from Carlos. Is super badges replacing certification?
Awesome. Well, thanks for that question, Carlos. And just as we're starting here, hi, everyone. It's Chris Duarte, and I'm here with Adam Torman.
Hi, everyone.
We're super excited to be here, and both Adam and I are huge fans of the MVPs and huge fans of our Salesforce community. So this is an honor for us to be here today. We're really excited to talk with all of you. This question is a question we get all the time.
Yeah, we really do, right? I mean, like, how do you compare these certifications and super badges? They seem like they're at odds. But, I don't know, I kind of feel like they're pretty complementary.
Yeah, what I love about the super badge experience is that it's a real-world business problem that you're challenged to solve. And by being able to complete it, it shows that you have this set of skills. And what I love about our certification program is it's awesome. It's very rigorous. You have to recertify a couple times a year, right, with every release.
The intention is really to be legally defensible. And there's a phenomenal registry system so that people can find other certified Salesforce architects and Force.com developers. But they kind of complement each other because one is really focused on the act of doing it, and it becomes really an interesting conversation whether someone's in an interview. Tell me how you actually did the integration, or the security super badge, versus the certifications, which they just establish your credibility the minute you walk in the door for having a great knowledge base of Salesforce. So these two things we find work together very well. We're not looking to replace certifications, and certifications aren't looking to replace super badges. We're actually partnering with Salesforce University so that it becomes really a comprehensive view of how you can become an expert with Force.com and Salesforce.
That's awesome. And you can't see it right now, Carlos, but I'm holding up a green 500-point sign. That's 500 points for that question. That was a great question.
Awesome. All right. Let's see what other questions we have here. We have a couple more in the chat.
Hi, can I ask, sorry, this is Ian Gotts from Elements.cloud. Can I ask a quick question? I'm not on the chat. I'm actually sitting in the car, so
go for it.
On voice. Can you tell me what the relationship is between Trailhead and University, and particularly the event in Las Vegas, which I think is being run by Salesforce University, and then the relationship with the Trailhead content inside that event?
Yeah, that's a great question. And your name is Ian? Did I
yes,
get it right?
That's right, Ian. Yeah.
Hi, Ian. Thank you. Happy Friday. Thank you for that question. So we are really excited because we're partnering really closely with Salesforce University heading into next year, even starting to work together on content. And we're really thrilled to be working with them and aligning really closely with them in the year ahead. Destination Success was a huge success last year. We're really proud of the university for putting on that great event in Vegas. What a fantastic idea to get everybody together focused on learning. And the event, again, is happening this year, and we're really excited about that. Adam, do you know any more details about the event beyond what's already been announced, or are they still figuring things out?
I think they're still in the planning phase. But, this is really a deep partnership where, we generate a lot of the content ourselves, and we partner with the doc team who creates incredible docs. And now, recently we've been partnering with Salesforce University because, of course, they have incredible content developers, instructional designers, and they're actually, sneak peek forward-looking statement, building out the next super badge, which we're super excited about. So we are different parts of the organization here at Salesforce, but that should never, ever matter for any of our customers or partners. We absolutely love partnering with them because we both have incredible domain expertise and, again, incredibly complementary because at the end of the day, it's just about our customers and partner success.
Yeah, Adam alluded to some new content that's coming. I mentioned it as well. We're really excited about working with the team of experts that are out of Salesforce University to create some content in the next year. And as Adam mentioned, we have a super badge that we're partnering with them on, which is really exciting. We have some modules we're working with them on as well. So look for more exciting stuff to come between our partnership in this next year. We're really happy about it. And you got 500 points too, Ian. 500 points for that question. Awesome.
Nice. Good work, Ian. All right. We have a couple of questions in the chat here. Eric Dreshfield has a question which I'm sure you've heard before. His question is, when will Trailhead be productized so that customers can use it to build their own trails, modules, etc.?
Hi, Eric.
Eric, we love that question. So, let me take that one on because that's a fun product question. When we launched, our goal was really about enabling our 3 million strong Force.com community of admins and developers. And as we move forward, we realized that we really had something here for business users and really all type. So we are going to always be expanding that because we think that learning should always be fun and interactive and always should have a portion that is free. But one of the things that we've been hearing quite a bit of over the last couple of years is a lot of customers who want to create their own custom content and even mix and match it so that they can enable their admins and developers through Trailhead, or they can have their end users be able to log in and have access to secure private content that not only mimics their processes and flows, but even allows them the in-depth hands-on assessments within their sandbox environments with their specific configurations. And we think that this is a phenomenal idea. So the past year, we've been rolling this out internally to enable the Salesforce organization. So we call this Employee Trailhead. And it's really done a phenomenal job for enabling our entire employee organization and also giving us the blueprint for the future, which is to take that and actually enable an add-on product that people can use to create their own content. So we're really excited. We're working hard on it. Stay tuned for announcements of when it's actually going to come out to everyone.
So cool. 500 points to you, Eric.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Chris.
Nice job, Eric. Well, I'm going to jump down in the questions here because this is a similar question that we have in the chat from Stuart Adil. He says, many folks at user groups want to set up Trailhead for their company and ask me if they can somehow easily track their own users and create a company leaderboard of sorts to have company employees cheer each other on within Trailhead. Is that something that's being looked at?
Leaderboards, Adam. Oh my goodness, we love the leaderboard. You know what I love about this? I'm gonna just briefly riff on this.
You go, Chris.
Well, because it was one of our Salesforce MVPs who made the first leaderboard, Philip Southern. I don't know if Phil's listening, but Phil, who created this first leaderboard and made it available to everybody, checked it into Git, made it available. And since he checked it in, MVP Daniel Peter took it and made some changes to it, and it's been used in all of these informal meetups. So it's such a great idea, and you, the community, you had this idea right away when you saw Trailhead, and you took it upon yourselves to make something that could work in the meantime, which is really awesome. And now I think Adam could talk a little bit about how we might put some of that functionality into the product roadmap.
Absolutely. You know, I love it because you were mentioning Daniel and Phil, and Adam Olshansky has it on his blog, Adam to Architect. The leaderboards are phenomenal, right? And it's interesting because we've started to see a lot of our customers, a lot of our companies that we partner with and work with, they've started to roll out things like badge-a-thons. Love the badge-a-thons. And of course that prompts the question, well, how do I actually track who wins the badge-a-thon? Right? I need to be able to see this. And so the scrappiness of the leaderboards have been phenomenal because you can make your profile public, and that's really, in essence, what they've been doing to create the leaderboard. So you can do that today, and I highly advocate doing it because I don't see a reason why you wouldn't want to be able to do it. It's so much fun. But, you know, we really do need to be able to provide a lot more information. And so we have been working, it's been in development, forward-looking statement, a managed package for the AppExchange that will enable customers to be able to report using Force.com operational reports, or if they have Wave, they can move it into Wave. But it essentially pulls the data out of Trailhead and allows you to actually view your users' badges. Now, it will only include users' badges. It's not going to track trails or units or points right now. But our intent is to make it very easy for people to be able to manage it in their Force.com board where they live. Not only will they be able to track modules that are in progress and completed, but they'll even be able to, if they want, assign and prescribe modules and be able to track the completion all through reports. So that's something we're hoping to get out, whether it's carrot or stick in terms of assignments. We're hoping to get those reports out and that managed report package out early next year. Stay tuned for some announcements, and you'll probably see some things on the AppExchange because that's going to be how we distribute it.
Yeah, the reporting use case is so exciting, and we know that that's critical for you. And I love what Adam's talking about the ability to be able to assign modules. I think that's a really important use case for admins. I do. Adam's totally smiling at me right now, but it's as a former Salesforce admin, you know, when someone comes to you with a question, the same question that you've answered 25 times in the last 3 days alone, you just want to be able to reply with, here, will you just do this module, and then if you still have questions, I'm here for you. And I really feel like the ability to be able to assign work to folks is just, it's a great way to onboard. It's a great way to do your own admin case deflection. It's critical. So we really get that, and that's something we're really excited about.
That's awesome. That's great stuff. Thank you for that. The next question we have here is actually from Brian Kwong. Brian, do you want to just go ahead and give him your question?
Oh my God.
Sure.
Brian!
Hi, guys.
Hi,
I don't know if you know me or remember me, but, you know, I'm pretty much a newbie when it comes to Trailhead. My question is, we have badges and we have points. Are the points really only there for scorekeeping? Why have points? Why not just use the badges?
It's whose line is it anyway, where the points really don't matter.
I think points matter. I love points. I think we should be using points more and more. We have this conversation, Brian, all the time internally.
I don't want the points to matter, Adam. I don't want them to matter.
They're going to be so awesome. Okay, so one of the things, we asked the question, who's actually checked out the new user profile? And I'll tell you where the points really do matter. If you take a look at the new user profile, under the dashboard, in the bottom right-hand corner, what you'll see is a skills map. It's a pie chart. And that skills map is being taken directly from the points for each unit, tied into the tags metadata for the unit. And the reason why we're doing that is because we really want to be able to enable our community to be successful with Salesforce. But we want to be able to do even more than that. We have this vision that Trailhead can become a phenomenal place for your Salesforce CV. It can become a phenomenal place for you to be able to track not just what kinds of certifications or awards you have, but all the way down to the granular level of what kinds of skills you have. And so with the points give us a vehicle. They may not, in the long term, they may or may not be the right thing. But right now, they give us that vehicle for being able to go very, very deep in the granularity of how we map skills. And for that, we think that they're phenomenal.
I agree with you on that, Adam. I like that line from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Awesome.
But you know what, Brian? I'm going to give you 500 points for that. And Stuart, you got 500 points for your question too. Yay!
All right, people are racking up the points. I like it. All right, next question here. And you may have answered this in one of your previous answers on another question, but Michael White asks, are there any plans for customizable leaderboards?
Ooh, what kind of customizable leaderboards would you want?
Is that Michael White that I had a phone call with, Michael White, or is that a different Michael White? You have kind of a common name.
Yeah, it is common. No, different one. And really, I think you answered it in the previous question as far as both leaderboards.
Yeah, the managed package will really help with that because then all of a sudden it'll start to give you visibility, at least within your company, because that's really the intent of the managed package. It's mainly for the reporting within your company.
What about for user groups or local communities, that sort of thing, who maybe, I know there's a lot of great examples of Trailhead leaderboards you guys have spoken about previously. Any opportunity to sort of provide a Trailhead specific one, or is it the managed package that's going to be available to do that? So there's some study groups that are out there today that are being driven off some Trailhead content, and I guess the custom leaderboard code that's out there works fairly well for those things. A little clunky at times when there are updates, but I guess I'm just looking for any insight on if there's any plans to extend that a little bit further, or maybe API access to some of that data.
Sure. Great questions. Couple things. You're right. The managed package is only for the users within a company, and that sort of is the crux of it. It's kind of a security question. It's a privacy question. And you'll notice that even in the profile, you have to designate whether or not your profile will be public. It's an opt-in because we want to be respectful of our Trailblazers' privacy. There's something incumbent in being able to set your profile public that we need to investigate. But right now, we're still really in that investigation mode of how do we ensure the privacy of our Trailblazers while enabling this myriad of use cases. We really do get a lot of them around reporting across all the tenants, or reporting across the community, whether it's a user group badge-a-thon or whether it's a workshop that's being conducted by the awesome developer marketing group. Get tons of these use cases, partner groups, they all want that ability. So we're taking a look at it, and we're trying to do it from a way that makes sure that we're respectful of each individual's privacy, while also enabling all these great use cases that come from sharing that data.
Great.
Awesome. All right, we've got another question here from Alan, who is one of the Trailhead newbies. And his question is just around, are there, what tips do you have for a Salesforce newbie when they're looking at Trailhead and kind of where to start as he's looking to get into Salesforce?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question, Alan. Thanks for asking it. I think that when you're getting started on Trailhead, that it can seem overwhelming, especially because the content team has been so productive. If you think that just 2 years ago, we launched Trailhead with 11 badges, and we now have almost 150 modules, 25 projects, and 4 super badges live on the site. So when you're brand new and you come and you see that, you might wonder to yourself, where do I even begin to wrap my arms around this? And I really think it depends on your interests and who you are. So if you're a developer who's new to Salesforce, we have a great trail called Beginner Developer. that's an awesome place to start. You're going to learn about our platform, our object model. You'll learn about what things are available to you with clicks, not code. And then you'll learn about some of our basic coding languages. If you're an admin who's just getting started, so if you're more of the configuration expert, Beginner Admin Trail is a great place to start. You'll learn about all the declarative options and you'll learn about our platform, some of the core things that you'll need to be successful as an admin. If you're neither one of those, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Did you say wait?
No, I agree with what you're saying.
Okay.
I've got the hiccups, but my question is a little bit more specific in terms of
how
can I position myself with Trailhead to try to find an in with a company with that needs some help with Salesforce. I don't have any certifications. Currently working on that. Just have the Trailheads right now. How can I position myself to be successful to be employed?
Yep. So do you already have Salesforce skills, Alan, or are you building your portfolio of skills?
Building.
Good. So that's awesome. My suggestion to you, and this is just me giving you some career advice as someone who's been in the Salesforce ecosystem for about 7 years. So my suggestion to you as a great place to start is to do a broad spectrum of badges on Trailhead. Consider going after at least one certification. I'd recommend that you, if you're not already involved, get involved with your local user group and attend regularly and network. And then consider doing nonprofit pro bono work to gain experience in working on an actual implementation so that you can put all of those things on your resume. All of those things will help position you to get your first Salesforce admin job.
Got it.
And hey, Alan, this is Dale Ziegler. I left you my email in the chat, but I have a gentleman that I want to connect you with who has followed a similar path in the past, and I think he could definitely help you out.
That is awesome. Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Alan, I think you're going to find that there's no community quite like this one. There are so many people who've been right where you are who are like, oh, I want to get into this, but I sort of don't know where to start. And that's what's so wonderful about the user group and our success community is there's just so many people who will be willing to help you, like Dale was just helping you right then. I think you'll find it's like no other community you'll ever find in the tech industry. That's just my
that has been my observation as well. I'm very excited. I haven't seen anything like this. I'm coming from an SAP background. This is completely other, but in a fantastic way.
Well, welcome. Really good to have you in the ecosystem, and definitely anything we can do to help you, let us know.
I appreciate that. Thank you, and likewise.
These are fantastic questions.
They are. Jared, would you like us to maybe do a fun fact? You want a fun fact?
Yeah, let's pause for a fun fact. That'd be great.
Pause for a fun fact. So I'm going to give you a fun fact about how we produce content and how we do our development sprints. We have to give each one of our sprints for content and for our dev cycles a fun name. And we have naming conventions for our content sprints, and we also have naming conventions for our dev sprints. So our naming convention for our content sprints is we always do an animal and an adjective. So the first one we ever did was Adamant Aardvark, which Adam Foreman loved.
I love that one because I had Adam in there.
And we are about to have our innovative iguana release. It is for the fourth year in a row, the world's most innovative iguana. You would not believe it.
How about a highfalutin hamster?
Highfalutin hamster as well. Now, on the dev side, they adopted different naming conventions. Harmon, I don't know if you could speak to the
Sure. So we went back to our original theme with Trailhead being part of the National Park Service. And so what we do is before every single sprint, we poll the team and we ask them in an alphabetical order. If, let's say, we're on R's, we ask them for a sprint name that starts with R. Like this last one was, I think, Redwood Regional Forest. And I think
we've done Crater Lake.
We've done Sequoias. We've done Muir Woods. So we're basically working our way through the NPS, through the National Park Service.
So Sequoias and innovative iguanas. My tip to all of you is as you're thinking about your own projects, consider giving them fun names just to infuse the spirit of weirdness in what you're doing. Because I will tell you, there is nothing better than hearing your colleagues be like, so are we
I only
targeting?
have one phone. I only have a cell phone. I do not have a landline. Believe it or not.
We're hearing someone else. There's nothing better than hearing your colleagues say, are we targeting hamster or iguana for that?
Are we building sequoias or redwood?
That's awesome. That's great. I love the fun fact and the tip all in one. Excellent.
Okay, we'll take more questions.
All right, we've got a question here from Jennifer Wobser. Are there any plans for Trailhead starter kits for nonprofit organizations that want to use Trailhead as a tool for getting people back into the workforce? For example, my local women's shelter would love Trailhead kits as the public cannot go inside and work directly with the women.
Hi, Jen. It's great to hear from you. Could you maybe tell us tell us a little bit more about what would be in the kit? Yeah, what would be in the kit, Jen? What kind of stuff would be in the kit?
Am I a hamster and iguana today? That's the better question, right?
You'd want to open up a box and have a hamster there, right? Especially if it didn't survive the journey, you'd sort of be like horrified. This is a fun
thing. I like Yeah, so I had this request, and it was interesting because there are certain nonprofits around me that you're not even allowed to work with people because there's extreme circumstances. So they're like, where do we order these kits, right? That's a good question. This is not going to see. So what do you think about that? Are there any plans?
Well, what kind? I'm curious. Is it like a kit that's like for a teacher to be able to go in and teach a class, like a presentation deck? Is it a kit with like Trailhead swag so that you could motivate people to do badges? Like, what would be in the kit, Jen? I'm trying to.
Yeah, so if you're somebody who's never, you're in a bad situation and you've never really even maybe heard of Salesforce, but this is an avenue. You like tech, right? And you think this is something, you want to pursue. If I'm not there to talk to them, nor is anybody else, a little motivational box, right? That you remember at Dreamforce, was it 2 years ago? We had the little maps that just told them like where to go. Even just something small that would say, hey, get on this website and do these trails, and this is kind of what it teaches you. But so they could do it independently on their own time.
I like it. So it's like an invitation to try Trailhead. Mm-hmm. And it's targeted to someone who may not be tech savvy or may not know Salesforce. So it's like some kind of a way for them. Like I was at an event the other night, and I was telling people what I do for a living, and some of them were like, "Well, that sounds really great. Do you have like some kind of card or something that I can like go on my own and explore?" And I was like, no, just go to trailhead.salesforce.com. And, people, they have, like, wine in their hands, and they're like, where do I write that down? So it's kind of like that, right?
Right.
That's a great idea, Jen.
That is a great idea. I'm
going to write it down because it's not the first time I've heard it.
I wonder if we could just brand it on the back of the hamster and send the hamster. Would that be better?
Stop it.
Tattoo the iguana?
I'm pretty sure, this isn't exclusive to my area, but there's so many organizations, that would they have wait lists for people trying to get back in the workforce, and they can't get enough people in there to train them or whatever. So something they can do on their own independently could help solve that issue for the people that want to go down that avenue.
Yeah, I love it, Jen.
Great idea.
I love that idea. Okay, so thank you.
Can I add a comment to that? This is Stuart. So I was recently invited to help teach. Mary Scotton did a Girl Develop It coding event where we walked through one of the Trailhead projects. I love projects, by the way. Keep doing projects. Thank you for projects. And one of the things that we noticed of having Mary Scotton there and other leaders there was that some of the students were understanding the module. They were understanding what they were being asked to do, but the context of why. And I know that that's something that I think Trailhead does really well, is kind of explaining the background and the why about what these things are. But even in a class where we're walking through it and they're reading it, sometimes they would miss the, okay, I get it, we're building an object, but I don't understand like the bigger picture of what this actually means to me. And I'm wondering if things like that in a kit, so if Mary Scotton wasn't there or if other teachers weren't there, would there be things in the kit that would help not only explain these are the trails to go through, these are the modules to go through, but here's the bigger picture of why you're doing this or what this actually means
like flyers
to you.
To the careers site or something. You know, these could lead to potential careers.
Yeah, and also just understanding, I think Stuart's also alluding to, like, it's great that you're about to follow these 5 steps to build an object, but why would you ever use an object in the first place?
Right.
And, yeah, like that, you know, and why would you go custom versus standard?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's Stuart's great feedback, and it's nice to talk with you. Happy Friday. I think that we've been trying to figure out how to crack the in-person experience powered by a Trailhead project. And, you know, I'm sitting next to Adam, who's a former Salesforce University trainer, and he's a former teacher. He has a lot of passion in this area. We've been thinking about putting together curriculum that a teacher can teach along with a Trailhead project, and kind of packaging that in a way that anyone can teach a class. And Adam, I don't know if you want to share some more ideas on that.
Well, you know, it's interesting because one of the things that we do internally is we've sort of flipped the model on its head for how we enable our organization, and particularly our sales organization. They follow a model called 70-20-10. And they've sort of changed the original meaning of it. But basically what that means is sales reps, when they come through and they're onboarded at Salesforce, 70% of their learning opportunity is Trailhead, right? And they've extensively used Employee Trailhead to build up a large repertoire of modules. 10% of their training is what they call stand and deliver, where they actually have to get up in front of their managers or panels and do a pitch on sales process or on product or corporate messaging. And it's really a peer-to-peer thing. And this is really where we want to start to see the entire industry move, because even being a former instructor from Salesforce University, I saw this all the way back then. It's not that I was an instructor, it's that I was a facilitator. I was a peer of those students who are really people I was partnering with. And so we see an enormous amount of value in that, and that's part of what we're trying to do to crack the code. And then 20% of the remaining enablement is done by traditional boot camps and ILT. But one of the things that is really interesting from the days when I was training is I would spend an inordinate amount of time presenting very basic entry-level information, which Trailhead does a phenomenal job, thanks to Chris and her team with their content, tone, and voice strategy. They've taken what is traditionally very boring and rote kind of information, and they have made it fun and engaging in a way that I never saw in all my previous university experiences. And so what that does is all of a sudden that enables an instructor to not have to stick with the bottom level of Bloom's taxonomy of just identification and understanding. Instead, they can go after the real value add. They can flip the classroom, just as Saul Khan did with Khan's Academy, where when you get into a class, instead of a week-long boot camp, you can do a one-day session. And instead of going over rote information, you can open it up to questions, to panels, to focus groups, to things that are really about synthesis, or even be able to just run some of the higher level items within Trailhead, like projects and super badges in particular, which I saw that it's been incredibly effective. So that now the instructors appear, and now you're using Trailhead to be able to really go after the higher order set of objectives. And that's the kind of thing you need people for. We're not here to replace people, right? We're all about, like as Sam Reddy, the other product manager on Trailhead always says, it's because people. Right? We want to find a way to crack the code so that we can make sure that we've optimized the learning experience for the learner, and we absolutely think that that involves instructor-led training, virtual instructor-led training, and e-learning automation.
Yeah, I love this model of, like, you do a couple badges to prepare, you come to the class, there's a set of slides that's optimized for the in-person experience that provides all that context on the why, And in the class, you do the project guided by the teacher, and then you go home and there's homework for you to continue your journey. I think that's a really great model that could allow us to be able to scale and help nonprofits, and everybody can help their communities. It's something we're really interested in for this year.
And one of the coolest things I saw, Justin Evelston, a friend from Arcus, did this really cool thing. This first super badge, he partnered with someone at Arcus, and they completed it together. And it was a phenomenal experience because they wanted to delve deep into a new area that they weren't familiar with, which is Lightning. And in that process of basically peer-to-peer project, it was not about instructor and student. It was about two people partnering around an optimal learning environment.
Yeah, I like the shout out to Justin. Hey, Justin.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Great stuff. So we got another question here I want to throw out from Deepa. Her question is are you going to allow ISVs to build trails specific to their products?
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Hi, Deepa. Hello. How are things in Austin? It's great to hear from you. Tormund.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
We're doing great, and I don't know if you know Adam, but we're so excited to get that question.
Deepa, really good to meet you. You know, it's funny. I feel that question probably about 6 times a day, and I love it. I love it because it can mean so many different things. So here's kind of the cases I've heard, and here's where it all falls out. One case I've heard is I'm an ISV, and I've got all these phenomenal subscribers, and I want to roll out training for them that they can use, right? And so they're looking at Trailhead to be a conduit for it. And that is a use case that's not currently available. It is absolutely a use case that we're chasing down for the platform and add-on, where we want to build out a content marketplace and let ISVs create incredible content and, most importantly, hands-on assessment within the customer, the subscriber's environment, so that we handle not just the package but also the customizations. So all of that is going to be part of the platform add-on. The other use case that we get a lot is I want to be able to, as an ISV, essentially open up a portal so that I can do a little bit more generic kinds of enablement, but specifically, again, to my subscribers. That is also a use case that we're chasing down. It's a little bit further down on the roadmap, but we want to be able to enable ISVs to be able to leverage a community so that they can distribute content out to their subscribers directly, as opposed to the subscribers having to manage and customize the content themselves. Then the third use case, which is a little bit further down the roadmap, is really the one where ISVs want to be able to post their content onto what we call public Trailhead, which is publicly available to everyone. That is one that we are looking at, but it's just simply further down the roadmap. So that's kind of the way the three flavors of use cases have come out. I'm kind of curious, Deepa, how does that match to what you were thinking?
It's kind of along the similar lines. I mean, my immediate thought was, and I think, Ian, are you still on the phone yet, or are you gone? I don't know if Ian Gotts is still on the phone.
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry, yes, I was on mute.
Oh, okay. So I've been looking at Ian's product, elements.cloud, and it's a fantastic process mapping product. And I'm going through and setting it up in my org and trying to bring things in. And it's like it would be so nice if we could develop a Trailhead module that could really guide people on how to do it before they go set it up into their orgs and not mess things up. So that's one use case that I'm currently thinking of, just because I'm working with him and testing out, the awesome product that they're releasing. And I actually have another use case for you, and this is something that I'm getting involved with, the Spouse Force program. I'm having conversations with them about helping them with their training program that they're delivering to all the members who are, the spouses for the people who are serving for our country. And it just dawned on me as we were talking and as I was listening to you guys that it would be so nice if I could develop a custom program for them that they go through before they go through the training, because these are the people are kind of like someone who was just talking about like how they're so brand new and they really don't have a full concept of what Salesforce is or how to even think about engaging with Salesforce, and if I can design something that can help them understand like the simple concepts like Business 101, and then they dive into Salesforce, it would be so awesome to be able to give some of these elements to them and say, go do it on your own before you go do it into your actual orgs. And this way they have a little bit of a practice, and that diminishes a little bit of time that we spend on helping them educate that up front before we deep dive into them. Does that make sense, what I'm saying or asking?
Yep, absolutely does. I dig that use case.
Okay. So does that fit into what, like, kind of what you're talking about? Is that something that can be on the roadmap or something we can expect in 2017? Or can I get an idea on what you think of, like, with something like that coming out, or what the timeline could be?
I'm thinking probably the timeline for that, it is actually on the roadmap. It's really just enabling an ISV to be able to create content and distribute it, and then enable in a user group or workshop to be able to access it. I'll be honest, from a timeline perspective, it's probably not going to come out in 2017. My expectation would be it would probably be closer to the middle of 2018.
2018? You kind of got cut off there.
Sure. So my expectation would be it probably would hit around mid-2018.
Forward-looking statement.
Forward-looking statement, of course.
Forward-looking
I know, it's very weird. You can't see my slides or my tattoo.
Yeah, that's right.
Totally
that's
understand,
right.
Chris. I've been part of it for over 8 years now.
I know, Deepa.
Awesome.
All right,
well,
I will go back on mute now.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good stuff. So we got about 11 minutes left, so we're going to kind of jump into what I'm going to call a lightning round. We have several questions here that maybe we could get answered here. So one question is, any suggestions on how to get through Trailhead modules when you're constantly having to start and stop? So maybe getting distracted, like any best practices there around getting through Trailhead modules?
Yes. I work my calendar. I use my calendar as my tool. I just block time on my calendar. And I know that that's easier said than done, but here's my other tip is to block time on your calendar and then go hide. So leave.
That's where you went.
You don't know where I am. Leave your desk. Go somewhere else. And can't tell give me a question.
I think others do.
I don't know who that is that's off mute, but oh my goodness. So
I do something similar. I do Google Goals.
Yeah.
Because it automatically finds random slots in my calendar that are open.
Oh.
So I don't have to schedule it myself. It just finds, if I say I wanted to work on it for an hour, it just finds it, and it's a nice reminder. Sometimes I miss it, but it's a nice reminder that just simply shows up. I'm like, next thing I need to do is do a Trailhead badge.
Folks, you heard it here. Google Goals. Go for it.
Mm-hmm. Google Goals. That's great. Yeah, I actually have not heard of that. I'll check that out. Awesome. No, it's great stuff. So another question here, and this is similar to some of the other questions around, customizing trails for ISVs, for even your own org. Brian Connell has a question around, do you ever see Trailhead becoming something of a platform that could be sold like an LMS and leveraged?
Yes.
Absolutely. So right now, it really is an application that we built on top of Heroku, but we are absolutely turning it into a platform and add-on with the intention of enabling customers to be able to create their own custom, secure, private content and really be able to roll it out to essentially change how their workforce works. So that is absolutely something that we are working on, forward-looking statement.
Forward-looking statement.
I'm kind of curious. If you had it tomorrow, how would you use it?
Hey, this is Brian. So I have clients in the ecosystem that are wanting to use it in the higher ed space particularly because they all need an LMS. And they have professors that are coming in, mostly adjunct professors, who are saying, I need something to supplement what's happening in the class in order to really take advantage of the new technologies. I know my son starts high school next year, and their entire curriculum structure is upside down from every other high school in the area, and they want to use online and electronic-based teaching tools because that's how the students are really gathering their data. They're seeing YouTube, they're getting things in a lot of different ways, non-standard ways, and Trailhead just really fits as a much more tremendously flex platform for all of us. But taking it to the marketplace means people say, "Hey, I have Salesforce, and we use Trailhead internally for our own." So,
I think that's awesome. I think that's an awesome idea. It's interesting because I think the LMS marketplace is going through an inflection point. There's a schism between the original LMS providers and the ones that popped up that really focused in on some of the management capabilities. They're SCORM compliant, they're blended learning, and they have some phenomenal capabilities. I saw a demonstration of one the other day, and I was blown away by some of the things it can do. But there's a whole third wave of new LMSs coming out, and we kind of feel like we fall more in that third wave, where it's much, much more learner-centric. It's much more on the carrot than the stick. It's much more about fun and interactivity. And the thing that really sort of differentiates us is two things. The hands-on assessments is something that we are passionate about because we think that learning is practical. It's not just knowledge-oriented. And then the second thing is really what Chris Duarte brought to Trailhead, the content, tone, and voice strategy, which is it's so tremendous. I can't tell you how many times I've taken an ethics or compliance training that has put me to sleep, and that has never happened in Trailhead reading the content. The content is interactive and engaging, and there are certain aspects of it that are very difficult to, believe it or not, roll out in traditional LMSs that are much easier for us to be able to manage through Trailhead. So we definitely feel that we are an LMS. We definitely feel that we are becoming a platform and that we have this ability to help take advantage of this transformation happening in the workforce and in the marketplace.
Can I just jump in there? So this is Ian Gotts from Elements. Deepa mentioned that we've got a business analysis tool. We've got a wealth of training. We've been a customer of Salesforce since 2002 and been in the sort of the business analysis, business mapping, business improvement space. So we've got a wealth of business skills which we would happily put into a Trailhead type style if that was available to us. So it's more than just product training. I think there's a whole bunch of the training that, say, a Salesforce admin needs when they start thinking about the bigger picture, which is what is quote to cash rather than how do I customize the account module. So as an ISV, we're building training. Why wouldn't we put it in Trailhead? That's the first thing. And then a supplementary point that goes with that, which is when can we start to apply Einstein to Trailhead? So because you finished that badge and finished that badge, I know a bit about you. I also know about the patterns of other people's training. These are the things that I suggest you should be doing next. That would be exciting.
Absolutely.
You can't see it right now, but I have a giant Einstein head that I'm holding over my face.
And you'll see it on Twitter in just a minute.
Adam, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about what we've been doing with Einstein in-house.
Sure, happy to. So, Einstein's such a phenomenal game changer for us at Salesforce because it really is AI for everyone.
It is.
Right? And it reduces the barrier to entry so dramatically across every one of our applications, across our development platform. It's a very powerful set of features. And it's a set of features that we are looking to take advantage of. Again, forward-looking statement. I'm a product manager. I get to say that. On our roadmap is the idea of using it to power our recommendations because we feel that we have a sufficient critical mass of involvement in the community and content that we can do some really interesting things from an artificial intelligence standpoint. And we think recommendations is one of those methodologies that we can roll out, which can be very beneficial for keeping people engaged with what's next, but also doing a good job of making sure that they're getting the right content when they need it.
If you think about when you go on Amazon and you come there and you're going to buy one thing, and the next thing that happens, Amazon's recommending to you other stuff that other people have bought, and the next thing you know, your cart is full. And it's because the recommendations are so smart. And that's the same kind of thing that we want to be able to do in Trailhead. Other people like you who finished this badge also found value in these badges. So that's something that's super, super cool. I don't know about the first question, Ian. I feel like we might have already talked about that. I definitely, soft skills are important. We believe in soft skills. We've invested pretty heavily in soft skills this last year, and we'll continue to do that next year. We agree that it's more than just learning about the products. It's also learning the why.
So a great example was the Drucker's MBA content, which is phenomenal that Lisa Tenorio did. We think that there's a great opportunity here for it to not just be about product, but about culture, about thinking of new methodologies and ways of interacting between people. And so expect lots of cool things coming out in the future because we have a phenomenal environment to innovate and experiment and try new things out. So we agree. We think it's a great way, and it's the way the industry is moving.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. That's great answers. Thank you. You get a 500 from me. You got a 500 points from me for the answer.
Oh, nice.
I'll give it right back to you. Yes.
I love it. Awesome. Well, we've got about 2 minutes left, and I want to be respectful of time. So we've got a couple questions left unanswered. So Adam and Chris, if you're cool with it, I will email those over to you.
Sure.
And if you want to give me an answer, and what we'll do for everybody who's here, we'll post those answers to the community group on the Success community for MVP Office Hours. So if you didn't get your question answered, I apologize here, but we will get it answered and get it posted out for you. So I do want to thank Chris and Adam for your time. This has been awesome. No offense to anybody else who's joined us before, but I think this has been the best one yet from MVP Office Hours, at least most fun. So thank you guys so much for taking your time to answer those questions.
We love the community.
You all are awesome. Please keep participating. Please keep earning badges. Please keep asking questions because that's what life's about.
We're both on Twitter, so feel free to reach out to us.
Sounds great. Thanks so much. All right, and then to wrap this up, our next call. So this is the last call of the year. So Happy New Year to everyone coming up. Our first call of the new year will be January 6th, and our special guest will be an MVP, Brendan Conroy, joining us. So you won't want to miss that one. And thank you everyone for your time and the great questions. Probably the most questions we've had on any call. So we appreciate that, and we'll post a recording out, and have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys later.